The room smelled like despair. Not the poetic kind, the literal one. Sour whiskey spilled across wrinkled sheets, a half-eaten takeout box congealed on the table, and the cracked mirror above the sink bore witness to everything Maya had endured in the past 72 hours. Her legs were stiff from standing too long. The cheap motel tiles stung her bare feet, but she didn't flinch. She just stood there, staring at the white stick in her hand. Positive. The word might have meant hope to someone else. But to Maya, it was the confirmation of a trap. One she never saw coming. And then, 3 sharp knocks on the door. She didn't move. Just blinked, breathing slow and shallow. 3 more knocks. A pause. Then. Maya, it's me. His voice was muffled, hesitant, almost apologetic. Her chest tightened. Every cell in her body remembered that voice, how it used to soothe her into sleep and whisper promises between kisses. Now, it felt like a needle pricking an old wound. Maya exhaled, slow and deliberate, and walked to the door. She unlocked it without thinking, almost out of muscle memory. When it creaked open, Zane stood there, suitcase in hand, sunglasses perched on his head despite the overcast evening. He smiled nervously. Hey. She stared at him. There was a time when that smile would have melted her. But now? It curdled something deep in her gut. You shouldn't be here, she said flatly. Zane shifted his weight. I had to check on you. Maya glanced at the suitcase beside him. You're leaving. He nodded, eyes dropping to the floor. There's a flight tonight. I'm heading to Dubai. Business. Long term. Of course. Escape. He was always good at that. You were going to disappear without saying a word? I left you some money, he offered quickly. Under the pillow. Enough to get you a ticket back home, or wherever you want. I didn't mean to hurt you, Maya, I'm pregnant. The words fell like a hammer between them. Zane's face stiffened. His lips parted but no words came out. For a full 3 seconds, his eyes darted between her stomach and her face, as if waiting for the punchline. There's no mistake, she added. I took 3 tests. You're the only possible father. The air changed. It wasn't just awkward, it turned calculating. Zane didn't shout. Didn't run. He simply adjusted. I see, he said quietly. Maya's chest rose and fell, fury simmering beneath her ribs. What are you going to do about it? Zane looked at her, really looked, and it was like watching someone rearrange emotions to find the one that served them best. Empathy didn't win. I can't be a father right now, he said carefully. I'm building something. Starting over. You know what my life has been like, the debt, the chaos. I barely got myself out. You mean you got out by using me? Her voice was trembling now. I loaned you half my savings. I covered your rent. I stood by you when your car was repossessed, when your landlord kicked you out. And now that I need you. I never asked for any of that. You didn't have to, she snapped. I loved you. Zane sighed, emotionless. That's not a reason to ruin both our lives. She took a step toward him, hands shaking. You're not running from this. Zane's jaw clenched. He looked over his shoulder at the empty hallway. Then, he whispered. I already have. And just like that, he turned, wheeled his suitcase behind him, and walked out. Maya stood frozen in the doorway. No shouting. No crying. Just silence. Until the door slowly creaked shut on its own, leaving her in a room that felt colder than before. 3 days later, Maya collapsed on the train platform just as the 6:45 to Bradford rolled in. When she opened her eyes, she was lying in a hospital bed, connected to machines, and 4 dripping into her vein. A nurse hovered above her, checking vitals. A social worker stood nearby, clipboard in hand. "Miss Khan, you fainted from exhaustion and dehydration," the nurse explained gently. "You're 2 months pregnant. That's dangerous, especially if you're not eating properly." Maya tried to speak but her throat burned. The social worker handed her a cup of water. "You don't have to talk," she said softly. "Just listen. We don't know your full story, but help is available. There are shelters. Programs. You're not alone." Maya took the water, sipped. Then shook her head slowly. "I'll be fine." The nurse glanced at the social worker, unconvinced. They left the room shortly after, leaving her in silence. She turned her head to the side and stared at the dull ceiling tiles. That night, she checked her phone. Only one voicemail. From her sister. "I warned you about him. You didn't listen. I can't keep watching you destroy yourself. Don't call me again, Maya. I'm done." Her thumb hovered over the delete button. Then pressed it. And that's when something inside her shifted. Not grief. Not sadness. Something colder. She reached for the hospital's visitor notepad, ripped a page, and began writing in block letters. "I will never be this weak again." 7 years later. The engine of the black Range Rover purred as it rolled to a stop in front of the towering glass building in central London. Engraved in gold above the doors, Horizon Group. Maya stepped out, heels clicking against the polished stone. Her suit was tailored navy, hair sleek, makeup flawless. Her walk was purposeful, like someone who had trained herself never to flinch again. "Morning, Miss Khan," her assistant called, jogging to catch up. "Morning, Lena. You've got a packed day. Media at 11. Then the London and Asia merger talk at 1. Oh, and the investor. Cancel them all." Lena blinked. "All of them?" Maya didn't break stride. "I have something personal to take care of." She entered her penthouse office, a minimalist masterpiece overlooking the Thames, and shut the door behind her. No hesitation. She walked straight to her desk, opened her laptop, and typed his name. Zain Ahmed. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard for a moment. She hadn't searched him in years. Not because she'd forgotten, she'd just learned to turn pain into fuel. But now, her company was at the cusp of global expansion. And something in her said, "It's time." The search results came quickly. His face appeared on a failing startup's crowdfunding page. Same smirk. A little older. Thinner hair. Further down, news articles. Zain Ahmed under investigation for fraudulent real estate pitches. Dubai investor accused of taking millions in fake property schemes. Local businessman claims innocence in alleged Ponzi scandal. Maya stared at the screen, breathing slow. One more click led to a court document, a downloadable file with financial history, affiliations, recent partners. And a name. Emily Carter Ahmed. Wife. 28. Gave birth last month. Maya sat back in her chair. She picked up her phone and opened a contact saved under a name that no longer matched the person. Reza. "I need you to track someone. Quietly. I'll pay double your usual." The response came in less than a minute. "Text me the name." "I'm in." She hung up and turned back to the screen, eyes cold. She wasn't going to ruin him. She was going to erase him. As she stood at the window later that evening, Maya thought of the girl she used to be, the one with the cracked mirror, swollen lip, and test in her hand. Alone, humiliated, discarded like trash. That girl died the day Zain walked away. The woman standing here now had rebuilt herself brick by brutal brick, and the world respected her, even feared her. But she hadn't forgotten. And now that he had something, someone, he cared about, that's when the real game could begin. She picked up her phone again. A new voice message came through, from the headmistress of her son's school. Maya, he's doing brilliantly. Top of the class again. You should be proud. Maya smiled, the only time her face softened all day. I am, she whispered. Rain slid in thin sheets down the windows of Maya's penthouse as London glimmered below. But inside her office, everything was still. Too still. The only sound was the steady hum of her laptop and the faint clicking of her pen against the edge of her coffee cup. Her jaw clenched tighter with each passing second. Reza hadn't messaged back. It had been 6 hours since she gave him the name. Zain Ahmed. Normally, Reza was fast, ruthless, effective, and careful. He used to be a private investigator for corporate frauds, but Maya had recruited him years ago after she caught him tailing one of her competitors. Now, he worked for her alone, and always delivered. But tonight, there was nothing. Until suddenly, her phone buzzed. Reza, Maya. We need to meet. In person. No phones. No email. Urgent. Her brows furrowed. What could possibly be so urgent? 2 hours later. The cafe Reza picked was an underground spot in Shoreditch. Small. Dusty. Lit by flickering lights and the glow of a single ancient coffee machine. It was the kind of place people passed without seeing. Maya walked in with her coat still on, heels silent against the tile. Reza was already seated in the back corner, face grim, a file folder resting beside his untouched espresso. He looked up. You sure you want this? I didn't come here for tea, she said. What did you find? Reza slid the folder toward her. She opened it slowly. Inside were surveillance photos, screenshots, and 2 heavily redacted documents, immigration records and corporate filings. Zain's name was all over them. But it wasn't the documents that made her hands go still. It was the photo paperclipped to the back. Zain. Standing in front of a beachside villa in Marbella. With her old friend, Imran Malik. Maya's breath caught in her throat. Imran was a quiet, serious type. He'd been Zain's flatmate once, back when Maya and Zain were dating. She always liked him, trusted him, even. He was there the night she fainted, the night Zain disappeared. He even offered to drive her to the hospital, but she had refused. Now, they were business partners. Reza tapped the table. It gets worse. How? Zain's not just in trouble. He's drowning in debt. He's defrauded at least 3 investors. Spanish authorities are sniffing around. And Imran? He's the one protecting him. Maya flipped the next page. A WhatsApp transcript. Zain, she doesn't know where I am. She thinks I disappeared. Imran, you sure she never traced the money? The account in her name? Zain, she was stupid then. Not anymore. If she ever finds out. Maya froze. Account in her name? She looked at Reza sharply. What is this? He leaned forward. Back when he left you, Zain transferred over £70,000 into an account under your name. Not for you, for him. He used it to launder money. Made it look like you were involved in one of his shell companies. That's how he got out clean. Her heart thundered. You're saying. If that file ever resurfaces, Reza said grimly, you go down. For fraud. For laundering. For lying. He used your identity to build his empire, then abandoned it once it started to burn. Maya closed the file slowly. Rage lit a fire inside her chest. I want him exposed. You sure? There are legal risks. You're a CEO. This could spiral. She stood. Straightened her coat. Let it. Meanwhile, in Marbella. Zayn Ahmed leaned back in his lounge chair, drink in hand, the sea breeze brushing over his skin. His baby daughter was sleeping in a stroller beside him, and his wife, Emily, was on the phone nearby discussing yoga retreats. But Zayn wasn't at peace. Something in his stomach had felt off since morning. He couldn't explain it, just a weight pressing behind his ribs. A kind of unease he hadn't felt in years. His phone vibrated. Unknown number, you owe more than money. You owe a life. He stared at the message. No name. No context. Just dread. His palms began to sweat. He looked around, suddenly alert. Then called Imran. She's coming, isn't she? Imran sighed on the other end. I told you this would happen. You said she was done. That she'd moved on. I said she looked like she had. But women like Maya, they never forget. You should have burned it all when you had the chance. I need to move the money again, Zayn said quickly. And the documents. If she finds the link between me and the Horizon Shell Corp, it's over. I warned you, Imran snapped. She's more dangerous now than she ever was. Back in London. Maya didn't sleep that night. She stared at the ceiling of her penthouse, the lights of the city pulsing like a heartbeat through the windows. Her son was away at boarding school, safe, protected. She kept him out of the media. No photos. No exposure. Zayn didn't even know the child had survived. And maybe, that's what scared her most. Not what Zayn had done in the past, but what he might try if he ever knew he had a son. She thought about that. Long and hard. Then picked up her phone and called her head of legal. Hi Maya, is everything okay? I want a private trust set up for my son. Separate from the company. No name linking him to me. Not publicly. Everything under guardianship until he's 21. Understood. Any reason for the urgency? Maya's voice was steel. I'm about to dig up a grave. The next day. At a luxury charity gala hosted at the London Museum, Maya Khan made her first public appearance in weeks. She was elegance in motion, charcoal dress, sapphire earrings, confidence pouring off her like perfume. Every major investor was there. Journalists. Celebrities. Politicians. And Maya? She wasn't just attending. She was about to make an announcement. As she took the stage, her assistant Lena whispered nervously, "This wasn't on the agenda." I changed it. The room hushed. Maya took the mic. Ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for your continued support. Horizon Group was founded not just on business, but on rebirth. On rebuilding. And today, I want to share something personal. The crowd leaned in. I once trusted someone who broke me. Who took everything I had and left me to bleed. That man thought I would vanish. But I didn't. She paused. The room was dead silent. I rebuilt myself. I rose. And now, I'm here to say, if any of you have been hurt, used, discarded, you're not broken. You're becoming. Applause erupted. Flashes from cameras sparked like fireworks. But Maya wasn't smiling. Her eyes were locked on the man across the room who had just entered. Imran Malik. He was older now. But she recognized him instantly. And when their eyes met, he froze. She handed the mic to the host and stepped off the stage. He turned to walk away. She blocked him. I see you finally left the shadows, she said. Imran gave her a tight smile. It's not what you think. No, she said. Then tell me, Imran, how long were you laundering money with him? Before or after you offered to drive me to the hospital that night? I saved your life. You saved his secrets. He stepped closer. What do you want, Maya? I want the truth. The files. The signatures. Everything Zane tried to bury. And if you don't give them to me, I'll go public. You'll destroy your own company. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Only if I lose. And I never lose. The envelope sat like a threat on Imran's kitchen table. Unopened. Hand-delivered. No return address. He'd been staring at it for an hour, tapping his pen against the table, his thoughts a storm of panic and guilt. He knew who sent it. He didn't need to open it to feel the weight of its message. Maya Khan had drawn the line. She wasn't bluffing. Not like she used to. That girl, the one who cried for Zane to stay, who begged for scraps of love, she was gone. The woman Imran had faced at the gala was someone else entirely. Someone terrifying. He finally tore the envelope open. Inside was a single photograph. Zane's daughter, swaddled in pink, in a stroller by the ocean. But that wasn't the bombshell. It was the second photo. A boy, tall, dark curls, olive skin. Holding a cricket bat. Grinning wide, missing a front tooth. Behind him was the school's name. St. Michael's Academy, EST 1845. And on the back of the photo, in Maya's sharp handwriting. He looks just like his father, doesn't he? 3 days earlier, London. Maya stood inside the headmistress's office at St. Michael's, staring through the glass at the schoolyard below. Her son, Ryan, was chasing another boy across the field. Laughter echoed off the walls. Her heart ached with a strange mix of joy and dread. He was 10 now. Kind, bright, stubborn, just like his father. He asked a lot of questions she had no answers for. Especially one. Why don't I have a dad like the other kids? She'd lied. Said he lived far away. Said he couldn't be with them right now but loved Ryan from afar. And every time she said it, it chipped a piece of her soul away. Now, watching him run across the grass like nothing was wrong, Maya swallowed the guilt that clawed up her throat. Ms. Khan, the headmistress said gently, walking in with tea. You said this visit was urgent? I need his school files changed. Pardon? No more Khan, Maya said. His name is to be recorded as Ryan M. Noor. Middle name only. No surnames tied to me, or anyone else. The headmistress frowned. That's highly unusual. It could trigger a re-evaluation of his academic credentials. I'll fund a new library wing if that's what it takes. The woman blinked. Done. Maya signed the form without hesitation. She didn't just want to protect her son from the man she once loved, she wanted to erase any trail Zane could follow. Because if he found out, she wasn't sure what he was capable of anymore. Same day, Marbella. Zane paced across his marble-floored villa, one hand in his hair, the other gripping the printed photo Imran had sent him. He stared at the boy's face. The curls. The same dimples he saw in the mirror. Is this a joke? He whispered. Emily, his wife, stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Who is he? She asked. I don't know. Zane, don't lie to me. He didn't answer. Couldn't. She stepped forward and snatched the photo from his hand. Then read the back. Her voice dropped. She's saying this is your son? Zane said nothing. Emily shook her head. Did you have a child with her? It was years ago, he said hoarsely. I didn't know. I swear, Emily, I didn't know. You told me you left her. You never said she was pregnant. She said she was keeping it, but I thought, he paused. I thought she was bluffing. Emily took a step back. Her voice broke. And what if she wasn't? What if you left a child behind and never looked back? Zane closed his eyes. I made mistakes. Emily dropped the photo. It fluttered to the floor like a falling secret. No, Zane. You destroyed people. Back in London, nightfall. Maya sat in her car outside a quiet terrace house in Brixton. The streetlights flickered above, casting long shadows over the pavement. Reza slid into the passenger seat beside her. He knows, Reza said. Imran sent him the photo. I expected that. But there's something else. Reza handed her a flash drive. This came from one of my contacts in Spain. Zane recently bought a new identity through a fake citizenship agency. Passport, name, the works. What name? Zahir Malik. Maya blinked. He used Imran's last name? Reza nodded. He's hiding. Preparing to run again. Maya slipped the flash drive into her coat pocket. Her hands were cold. She didn't want revenge for herself anymore. She wanted protection for her son. A guarantee that Zane could never reach him. I want everything, she whispered. Bank records. Fake IDs. Property deeds. We destroy his foundation before he even thinks of coming back. You're playing with fire, Reza said. This isn't just about him anymore. You're pulling threads tied to some dangerous people. I don't care. Let the fire burn. Next morning, Marbella. Zane woke up alone. Emily had taken the baby and gone to her sister's. The silence of the house was deafening. His phone buzzed. Unknown number, you want to meet him? Be a father? Come to London. Alone. Leave the lies at home. He read it twice. Then again. Maya. He wanted to delete it. Wanted to scream. But something inside him, something human, stirred. He stared at the screen. And typed. Ziawien, where and when. Later that day, London. Maya stood at the gravesite of her mother. The grave was modest, tucked into the far corner of the Muslim cemetery. She hadn't visited in years. Guilt always kept her away. She placed white lilies at the headstone, her eyes wet. Ami, she whispered. I'm sorry I disappeared. But I had to become someone stronger. You said pain can make you bitter or brave. I chose brave. But now. I'm scared. Her voice cracked. I'm scared of what he'll take from me. I'm scared Ryan will hate me for lying. I'm scared I've become someone you wouldn't recognize. The wind answered with silence. Then a single leaf fell onto her shoulder. She smiled faintly. You always said God sends answers in small ways. She turned and walked away. That evening, the meeting. Zane stepped into the empty conservatory at Holland Park where Maya had arranged the meeting. It was a glass and steel structure wrapped in flowers and silence. The city's noise felt miles away. He spotted her instantly. Standing near the fountain. Alone. She turned as he approached. Their eyes locked. And for the first time in a decade, time slowed. Zane spoke first. You look different. I am. He nodded. I saw the photo, he said. He's mine, isn't he? Maya didn't answer. Zane's voice trembled. Please. I just need to know. She stared at him for a long time. Then finally said, yes. Zane looked away, swallowing hard. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't want a child. You walked away. You said I deserved better. You disappeared. I would have come back. No, you wouldn't, she snapped. You would have run faster. Or worse, you would have used him like you used me. He winced. Maya stepped closer. You lost your chance to be a father. I raised him. I protected him. He doesn't know you. He doesn't need to. I want to make it right. It's too late. Zane looked at her, really looked, and what he saw broke something in him. Power. Pain. And peace. She didn't hate him anymore. She had outgrown him. Maya stepped back. I didn't call you here to offer redemption. Then why? She handed him an envelope. Inside is a confession. A legal affidavit detailing everything you did, the fraud, the laundering, the account in my name. If I send this to the press, your life is over. Your wife will leave. Your investors will pull out. You'll be arrested the moment you land back in Spain. Zane stared at the envelope. But I'm giving you a choice. What choice? Disappear, she said. For good. Leave your wife, your kid, everything. Change your name again. Leave Europe. I never want to see you again. And if I don't? She didn't blink. I'll make you wish you had. Zane took the envelope. Quiet. Defeated. I'm sorry, Maya. I don't need your sorry, she said. I just need you gone. Maya thought the silence would feel like freedom. But it didn't. It felt like walking through a house after a fire, the flames gone, the danger past, but the damage still clinging to the walls. Zane had vanished. Reza confirmed his passport was scanned in Morocco 3 days after their meeting. No forwarding trail. No bank activity. No calls. Maya had buried the signed affidavit, his confession, in her lawyer's private vault. She had won. But peace had never been her end goal. Safety was. And now, everything she feared was creeping back in. Because her son, Ryan, had questions. And one of them had just hit her like a punch to the ribs. 1 week earlier, boarding school, parent-teacher day. Maya walked through the halls of St. Michael's, heels echoing on the polished wood, trying to focus on the papers in her hand. But her mind was elsewhere. Always was. When she reached the classroom, Ryan was seated by the window, backpack at his feet, brows furrowed as he studied something in his lap. Hey, love, she said softly. He looked up. Smiled. Hi, Mama. She sat beside him. How was the science fair? I won 2nd place. He hesitated, then added, Arjun's dad helped him build a volcano. Maya smiled. You did it all yourself. That's even better. Ryan didn't smile back. Instead, he pulled out a folded sheet of paper. What's this? Maya blinked. It was a photocopy of a birth certificate. His. But it wasn't the one she gave the school. It was the original. Where did you get that? Mrs. Wood accidentally handed it to me when she gave out our vaccination records. I saw a name. Maya's throat tightened. Father, Zain Ahmed. I thought you said my dad's name was unknown, he said quietly. Her heart cracked in half. I was going to tell you when you were older. Is he alive? She looked into his eyes. Her son's eyes. So much like Zane's, but kinder. More innocent. Yes, she whispered. He's alive. Ryan looked down. Does he know about me? Maya hesitated. No. It was the only lie she could still justify. Present day, London. Maya sat in her office, sunlight pouring through the floor-to-ceiling windows. She stared out at the skyline, phone in hand, debating whether to call Reza or Ryan's school. She didn't get the chance. Her office phone rang first. Ms. Khan, there's someone here to see you, her assistant Lena said over the intercom. She says it's personal. Urgent. Who is it? She won't give a full name. Just that she used to know you when you lived in Walthamstow. Said you'd remember, Honey. Maya's breath caught. Honey. She hadn't heard that name in over a decade. Send her up. 2 minutes later, a woman in a tan coat entered Maya's office, slim, hijab wrapped neatly, eyes tired but warm. She looked like someone who had aged in silence, carried stories in her bones. Honey, Maya said slowly. Honey nodded. Still pretending not to remember people, I see. Maya stood. I just wasn't expecting. A blast from the past? Honey smiled sadly. Neither was I. But here we are. They sat across from each other, a coffee table between them. I heard about you, Honey said. On the news. Articles. Real estate queen. You made it. Maya folded her hands. What do you want? Honey didn't flinch. I came to warn you. Maya blinked. About what? Zane. He's gone. Not from here, Honey said, tapping her chest. And not from people who still owe him favors. Maya narrowed her eyes. You were friends with him. Briefly, Honey said. Until I saw what he was. But he left pieces behind, people who helped him disappear, people who still believe he's innocent. Why are you telling me this? Honey pulled a flash drive from her coat pocket. Because I found something. In my brother's files. He used to handle digital cleanup for Zane. The kind that hides more than money. Maya took the drive slowly. What's on it? A copy of a second birth certificate. Forged. For your son. Listing Imran as the father. Maya's stomach dropped. What? They were preparing to take Ryan from you, Honey said. To make it look like you faked the entire thing, even his paternity. Maya felt the room tilt. She stood, shaky, every nerve firing. Why are you helping me? Because I saw what he did to you. And I couldn't stop it back then. But maybe I can now. That night, Maya's penthouse. Maya stared at the flash drive on her desk. She had Reza analyze it immediately. He confirmed it. Zane and Imran had drafted a paternity claim using a doctor document, dated 2 years ago, with matching proof uploaded to a dark server that law enforcement couldn't easily access. It was all in place. A legal trap she never saw coming, because she thought he'd left the game. Maya paced, heart pounding. He was going to come for her son. Not with guns or kidnapping. With lawyers. Meanwhile, somewhere in Morocco. Zane sat at a rooftop cafe, scanning the London news. Nothing. Maya hadn't exposed him. Yet. His phone buzzed. A secure line. Imran. You're pushing too far, Imran hissed. Maya has eyes everywhere. She doesn't know about the certificate. She does now. Hani betrayed us. Zane froze. What? She showed up at her office. Gave her the drive. Zane swore under his breath. I told you to destroy that copy. I thought I did. You're a coward, Zane snapped. I lost everything because of your hesitation. No, Imran said coldly. You lost everything because of her. And now she's 10 steps ahead. Again. Zane ended the call without another word. He stared at his reflection in the coffee cup, distorted and dark. He had one move left. 1. 2 days later, London Family Court. Maya walked into the courthouse with her lawyer, her face blank but her body pulsing with nerves. Across the hall stood a man in a gray suit, his back turned. It wasn't Zane. It was his lawyer. A petition had been filed under Zane's original name, requesting a paternity test and joint custody of Ryan. Even though Zane had vanished, he'd managed to launch the war from afar. The judge postponed the case until formal appearances could be made. But the damage had started. The media caught wind. Headlines spun fast. Real estate queen's secret son at center of custody battle. Billionaire CEO faked paternity to hide past. Maya Khan's empire under scrutiny after shocking allegations. By nightfall, half her investors had paused meetings. The stock dropped 7%. The only thing she still held intact was her son. And the truth. Final scene, Maya's bedroom. Ryan knocked softly before stepping inside. He held the photo she thought she'd hidden. The one of her and Zane, back when they were young and stupid and in love. "Is that him?" he asked. She nodded. He sat on the bed beside her. "I don't care what he wants," Ryan said quietly. "You're my only parent. You always have been." Maya swallowed the lump in her throat. "Do you hate me for lying?" "No," he said. "But don't lie anymore. I promise." He hugged her. Tight. Fierce. Like he knew she might shatter. And Maya, for the first time in weeks, allowed herself to cry. Not because she was broken. But because she was finally brave enough to admit. Truth costs everything. But sometimes, it's worth the price. The silence before war is never peaceful. It's a suffocating stillness. Like breath held too long. Like standing on a trapdoor and hearing the lock click. Maya knew this feeling too well. She had spent years building herself from rubble, brick by brutal brick, only to find that the man who once abandoned her was now trying to legally steal the one thing she built that mattered most. Her son. But this time, she wasn't the same girl who had wept in a rented flat with a baby on her hip. This time, she was ready. 3 days before court reopens. "Are you absolutely sure?" Maya asked, pacing in her penthouse office. Reza nodded grimly from the couch, eyes scanning a document. "There's no mistake." Zane's legal team filed an expedited motion to claim sole custody, not joint. Maya froze. "He's trying to take Ryan away from me?" "Not just that. He's arguing you're mentally unstable, with a documented history of delusion, supported by forged psych records from when you were pregnant." Maya's face went white. "But I've never even seen a psychiatrist." "That's the point," Reza said. "They made it all up. And it's convincing." He slid the paper toward her. Her medical file. Her name. Her birth date. All faked. But deeply official looking. A glowing red stamp read, "History of postpartum psychosis." Maya's knees nearly gave way. She gripped the table. "He's not coming for my money," she whispered. "He's coming for me. For revenge." Reza leaned in. "You have to go public. Tell the world the truth before he does." She turned her back. Looked out the window. "If I go public, Ryan's face goes with me. I've spent 10 years protecting him." "And if you don't?" Reza said. "You lose him." That same night, unknown location. Zane stood in a dim apartment above a deserted alley in London. He had returned. Not under his real name. Not with fanfare. But with a forged identity and a cold plan. He had hired the best family lawyer in the UK, paid in crypto through a shell firm. He didn't care about custody. Not really. He just wanted to ruin Maya's image. The woman who outgrew him. Outsmarted him. Humiliated him. Zane stared at the photo of Ryan again. The boy did look like him. More than he wanted to admit. But it wasn't love that stirred in his chest. It was ownership. If I can't be a father, he muttered, I'll at least be a legacy. Back in Maya's world, 48 hours before the hearing. Maya sat in the living room with her lawyer, Saira Ali, a quiet, sharp woman in her 50s who had never lost a custody case in her 30-year career. There's a problem, Saira said softly, placing a sealed envelope on the table. This came to my office anonymously. You need to read it. Maya opened it. Inside was a single page. A DNA report. Her hands trembled. She scanned it once, then again. Then froze. Test Subject A, Zain Ahmed. Test Subject B, Ryan Khan. Probability of paternity, 0%. Her heart slammed against her ribs. What is this? She whispered. Saira exhaled. I verified it. It's from a reputable lab. The test is real. But that's impossible. Maya shook her head. Zain is his father. Are you absolutely sure? Saira asked gently. Is there any chance someone else could be? No, Maya said instantly. But then. A memory hit her like a thunderclap. Flashback, 11 years ago. The hospital room was spinning. Her vision blurry. She was 5 months pregnant and bleeding badly. A nurse was yelling. Lights flashed. Zain had left her just days before. But someone held her hand that night. A man's voice. Familiar. Comforting. Stay with me, Maya. Please. She remembered thinking it was a dream. But what if it wasn't? What if? She gasped. Imran. Present moment. Maya's hands began to shake. She stood abruptly. I need to speak to Reza. Now. Later that night, Reza's apartment. He was already waiting for her, files open, eyes wide. I was just about to call you, he said. We found something buried in the hospital's old off-site records. You were admitted the same night Zain left, for a hemorrhage. You were unconscious for 12 hours. Maya sat down. What does that have to do with? Reza hesitated. Your emergency contact listed wasn't Zain. It was Imran Malik. And the doctor's note says, you were sedated for an emergency procedure. What procedure? Reza handed her a file. Intrauterine insemination administered due to fetal distress and insufficient heartbeat. Maya's world tilted. They thought she'd lost the baby, Reza explained. So they attempted an artificial procedure to stabilize it. But, the sperm donor listed in the backup sample wasn't Zain. Maya could barely breathe. Then who? Reza's voice was quiet. Imran Malik. Back at Maya's penthouse. She collapsed on the couch, the truth spiraling through her. All this time, she believed Ryan was Zain's son. But he wasn't. He was Imran's. The man who helped cover Zain's crimes. The man who disappeared. The man who might return to claim his child. Maya felt her entire foundation fracture. But she didn't have time to grieve. Because a new headline had just hit the tabloids. CEO Maya Khan lied about paternity, father may be business partner Imran Malik. Her assistant called seconds later. It's everywhere. Reza says the source is anonymous, but it reeks of Zain's people. Maya stood slowly. She had to make a decision. Expose Zain. Or expose herself. The next day, press conference. Cameras flashed as Maya stepped onto the stage, eyes calm, voice steady. I have built my career on truth, she said. But there is one truth I never expected to face. The crowd leaned in. My son is not biologically related to the man I once loved. His true father, I only discovered recently, is someone I never consented to, the result of a medical emergency gone wrong. Gasps echoed. But I am his mother. In blood or not. And no man, no signature, will ever take him from me. Reporters erupted with questions. But Maya walked off the stage, unshaken. She had flipped the story. She was the victim again. And this time, she controlled the ending. Final scene. Courtroom doors. Maya stood beside Syra, dressed in black, ready for war. Across the hallway, Zane arrived. But he wasn't alone. A man stepped out behind him. Tall. Clean-shaven. Imran Malik. Alive. Here. Maya's heart dropped. He looked straight at her. No shame. No smile. Just intent. And she knew, in that moment. The final battle had begun. A courtroom is supposed to feel like justice. But to Maya, it felt like a trap with polished floors and cameras hiding in every corner. She stood tall near the defense table, dressed in a deep navy suit, her hair pulled back, her eyes steel. At her side sat Syra, calm and unreadable. Behind her, silent but present, was Reza. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. The press had been banned, but that didn't stop curious eyes from filling every seat. The scandal was too irresistible. At the other end, Zane adjusted his cufflinks with the same smugness she remembered from long ago. But it wasn't him who rattled her. It was the man next to him. Imran Malik. 10 years of silence. And now, he returned not with apologies, but with a lawyer. Maya's heartbeat thundered in her ears as the bailiff called the courtroom to order. The judge entered. Elderly. Stern. Known for taking no nonsense. And then, without ceremony, the hearing began. Opening statements. Zane's lawyer stood first. Your Honor, we are here to assert Mr. Zain Ahmed's legal right to seek custody of the minor child, Ryan Khan, under claims of biological paternity and parental abandonment of the child's right to know his father. Maya's jaw tensed. Abandonment? Syra rose next. Your Honor, we will provide evidence that not only is Mr. Ahmed not the biological father, but that this entire motion is built on false pretenses and malicious intent. The judge raised an eyebrow. Not the father? Syra nodded. We have DNA results, verified medical records, and proof that Mr. Ahmed knew he was not the father before filing the petition. Gasps echoed. Zane shifted in his seat. The judge leaned back. Then who is? The twist. Imran rose from the petitioner's side. I believe, he said slowly, that would be, me. Maya froze. The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Even Zane's mouth parted, confused. Imran's voice didn't shake. I recently learned that, due to a medical emergency during Ms. Khan's pregnancy, my donated genetic material was used in an unintentional insemination procedure. I never knew. Until now. Zane turned toward him. What are you doing? Imran ignored him. I'm here, he told the judge, not to fight Maya. But to support her. I've submitted an affidavit declaring no desire for custody. Only the truth. Maya's chest tightened. The judge looked between them. You're saying you don't want the child? I'm saying Maya is the parent. Not me. Not Zane. Zane shot up. You're lying. The judge slammed the gavel. Sit down, Mr. Ahmed. Zane seethed, his face turning red. Maya's testimony. When it was Maya's turn to speak, the courtroom held its breath. She stepped into the witness box, her voice low but steady. I was 19. I was in love. I trusted Zane. And when he left me pregnant, I thought that was the end. She paused, scanning the courtroom. But it wasn't. I gave birth. I raised a boy. I worked 3 jobs, went back to school, started my company from scratch. And I never once asked for help. Because no one offered. Her voice cracked. She let it. I protected my son from scandal. From pain. From lies. But this, she gestured to Zane, this isn't about fatherhood. It's about control. Ego. Revenge. She took a shaky breath. If biology makes a father, then I ask this court, where was he when my son had asthma attacks at night? When he cried over math homework? When he built his first robot from scrap pieces in our tiny flat? She wiped her eyes. Being a parent isn't about blood. It's about showing up. Every single day. The courtroom was silent. Even Zane couldn't meet her eyes. Ryan's voice. Just as Maya returned to her seat, a small voice broke the silence. Your Honor. Everyone turned. Ryan stood just inside the courtroom doors. His school uniform was slightly wrinkled. His backpack slung over one shoulder. Cyrus' assistant had brought him quietly, just in case. The judge frowned. Who is this? Maya stood, stunned. My son. The judge motioned for Ryan to approach. You know why you're here? Ryan nodded. To talk about who my dad is. Do you want to speak? Yes, sir. I do. The judge looked to Maya, who hesitated, then gave a small nod. Ryan climbed into the witness seat, legs swinging slightly. What do you want us to know? The judge asked. Ryan's voice was clear. I know I wasn't supposed to hear everything. But I did. And I know the man who says he's my dad left my mom. Before I was even born. He looked at Zane, eyes sharp. I don't need you. Gasps rippled through the courtroom again. My mom raised me. She's everything. She's smart and strong and she makes me feel safe. I don't want anyone else. I don't need anyone else. He turned to the judge. She's my parent. Forever. That's it. The judge took a long pause. Then nodded. Thank you, son. You've said more than enough. The verdict. 30 minutes later, the judge returned from chambers. He cleared his throat. Having considered the evidence, testimonies, and the child's clear preference, I find that Mr. Zain Ahmed's custody petition is not only without merit, but is built upon knowingly false documentation and unethical manipulation of legal channels. Zain tensed. Therefore, I hereby grant full, unchallenged custody and guardianship to Ms. Maya Khan. Cheers erupted softly. Zain started to rise, protesting. Furthermore, the judge continued coldly, this court is opening a criminal investigation into fraud and malicious prosecution, directed at Mr. Ahmed and his legal counsel. Zain's face went pale. Court officers moved swiftly. 2 uniformed guards stepped forward. As Zain stood, one of them placed a hand on his shoulder. You can't arrest me, he snarled. But Maya met his eyes for the final time. No, she said. You did that yourself. Epilogue, 6 months later. The ocean breeze swept through the balcony of a coastal villa in Cape Town. Maya watched as Ryan ran across the sand below, kite in hand, laughter echoing through the salt air. The trial had shaken her world. But it also set her free. She had stepped away from public business, let Lena take over day-to-day operations. Sold her London penthouse. Moved to a quieter place. Peace was new. Strange. But real. Behind her, a knock came at the balcony door. It was Reza. Holding an envelope. Mail just arrived. She took it, opened it slowly. Inside was a letter. From Imran. I don't want forgiveness. I just want you to know, I never planned to hurt you. I kept Zane's secrets because I was afraid. But you faced everything I couldn't. Ryan is lucky to have your strength. If he ever asks, you can tell him the truth. But only if you want to. She folded the letter. Tucked it into her drawer. Then turned to the ocean. Ryan was waving at her. She waved back. And for the first time in years, she felt whole. Final line. Sometimes, the people who leave us broken don't deserve to see how strong we become. But we still rise. And that's the best revenge of all.